Hello, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to create a gun that rotates to point at the mouse pointer and shoots. I have a sprite here, her name's Karen, and the gun is a child. I have an empty, which is positioned at the tip of the gun. This is where the bullet is given the coordinates to spawn at when instantiated. I have the camera and bullets that are instantiated from this prefab object down here. To do this, you really only need two scripts. The most important here is I have it called turn. This is what rotates the gun to point at the mouse and also has the command to instantiate a bullet on click. So this script is attached to the gun. And plugged in I have the bullet prefab and the empty position at the tip of the gun, and a speed variable that you can change depending on how you like it. To start, we're going to be working with this function right here, turning. First of all, you want to get the mouse position. You can use input.mousePosition, very easy command built in, and that will get you the coordinates of your mouse. I have it set to a vector 3 here so I can store it. And since it's 2D, we don't need the z coordinate. I have it set to 10 just to keep it simple, have a constant. And now the important part. The mouse will go off of the screen. This is outside of the game window. In order to switch the coordinates over from being anywhere, you have to use camera.main.screen to world point and then input your mouse position, and that will change it so it's just getting input from inside the game window. So don't worry about plugging it in and having it here because it's taking the before it's been transferred over and then it's rewriting it as the correct coordinates. Now that you have the mouse input, you are going to want to find out the direction in which the gun should be pointing at, and this is very similar to the distance formula. It's if you have 1 point here and 1 point out here, calculating a line in a direction, and basically you're going to be telling the gun to rotate its x-axis in according to this line. To do that, we want the mouse position minus the transform position, and this transform position is the position of the gun. So that's going to be your distance formula, and again it's going to calculate a line and updates every time your mouse moves, and then you can set your gun's transform to this direction. So transform.right is changing the x-axis to always be in accordance to this directional line that we've created. And so that is how to rotate the mouse. The next part is going to be shooting. This is fairly simple. We have this function down here with the game object bullet and the spawn point. This is where they come into play. We are making a projectile and instantiating it. What it is here is the bullet. It linked up to the prefab. This is the position where we want it to instantiate into, to spawn. And I have it just set to the transform position of the spawn. So just right at the tip of the gun, which since it's a child of the gun, it will stay with the tip as it rotates around. So it's just a precise way to spawn it. And here we are setting the rotation of the bullet to be the same as the rotation of the gun. This keeps it so if you have a longer projectile, such as an arrow, it will rotate so that the point is always shooting out, as opposed to it always being horizontal, and that getting kind of weird as you go around in a circle. So this is just the same as right here. It's setting it equal in the x-axis rotation. So this code here, of course, up in the update, we need to call upon the function turning in order to have it always be running. And then I have it set for the left click. It will call upon the function shoot. And so this would rotate and shoot, but this code does not account for the movement of the bullet yet. Over here I have one more, just a very simple code, bullet movement. This is attached to the prefab of the bullet, and so every bullet that is spawned has this code attached to it. And it's very simply translate, which sends the object in a direction for, in this case, infinity. So I'm changing the right, again this is the x-axis. I'm moving in accordance to a speed set to 28. This is something you can change however you want. And I'm using time dot delta time to add, seconds, a concept of time in, so this speed means something. And it's really just one line of code in the update, so it's always happening. And this attached to the bullet, which is shot from the gun, makes it work easily. There you have it. You click it and the bullet is being translated out of the gun. You can tweak the rotation, you can tweak the speed. There's all sorts of things you can do. If you have it inside of a parent like this, you can add a movement script which will allow the character to move around while the gun, the rotation, still works all the same. That's basically it. The only other thing I can think of is that you could possibly come upon a problem if your main camera, if you have multiple cameras or something. If camera.main.screen-to-world-point isn't working, you might want to change this from camera.main to just creating a public camera, call it cam. You plug it in and then you can change this to just cam, and then up here, wait for it to load, plug in your camera, and that does the same thing. And if you have multiple cameras running, the one that is showing the majority of the scene, even if it's not called main camera, this is how you can set it. Anyway, I hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope you have an understanding of rotation and instantiating. And thank you for listening.